27 years ago, an entire classroom of young students vanished without a trace during a school trip, leaving families shattered and authorities grasping for answers. The lead suspect, their male teacher, disappeared alongside them, but no bodies or clues were ever found. The case went cold, buried beneath years of silence. Until now. One desperate mother refused to give up hope. Then, decades later, a single overlooked detail in an old photograph resurfaced, unraveling a mystery that would shock everyone involved. Before we dive into this astonishing story, let us know where you're watching from today. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps give light to voices that deserve to be seen and heard. The rain hammered down in relentless sheets, blurring the streetlights and washing the color from the world outside. Inside a nearly empty grocery store on the quiet edge of a suburban neighborhood, 17-year-old Jasmine Carter stood patiently behind an elderly man, fumbling with his wallet. His fingers trembled with age, his coat soaked from the storm, and his worn grocery card held only the bare essentials: a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, a can of soup, and a small birthday cake. "I'm so sorry," the man muttered quietly, voice cracked with embarrassment. "I thought I had a 20 in here." The cashier shifted uneasily as the line behind them grew longer, eyes flickering with impatience. Without a second thought, Jasmine stepped forward and swiped her debit card, offering the man a gentle smile. "It's okay, really." The old man turned to her, his eyes glistening with gratitude. "You didn't have to do that." "No problem," Jasmine replied softly. "Happy birthday, sir." He said nothing more, simply placing a frail hand over hers for a fleeting moment before disappearing out into the rain like a ghost swallowed by the shadows. Jasmine thought little of the encounter as she went home, but 3 hours later, as dusk deepened into night, 3 sleek black SUVs rolled slowly down her street, their tinted windows hiding secrets inside. Engines idled quietly as the vehicles came to a stop before her modest house. Standing on the porch, Jasmine's heart hammered. Who could this be? The door of the lead SUV opened and a sharply dressed man stepped out. Jasmine Carter was just an ordinary teenager living an ordinary life, a high school senior balancing college applications, late shifts at a local cafe, and study sessions that stretched into the early morning hours. Her family wasn't wealthy, but they had enough. Her father worked at the post office, and her mother stayed home caring for her younger brother, Noah, who had cerebral palsy. That rainy Tuesday had started just like any other. After finishing her shift, Jasmine stopped by Miller's Market to grab cereal and paper towels. The old man in line, wearing a navy pea coat 2 sizes too big, looked like someone's forgotten grandfather. His embarrassment was clear, but Jasmine couldn't just walk away. She told her mom about it when she got home. "I just paid for some old man's groceries," she said. "He looked like he really needed a hand." Her mom smiled knowingly. "Kindness always finds its way back," she said, never imagining how quickly it would come back to them. Now, standing on the porch, Jasmine felt a chill run down her spine as the suited man approached, followed closely by 2 others. Her father stepped outside, his protective stance firm as he placed himself between the strangers and his daughter. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice steady. The man in the suit held up a badge. "Agent Rhodes. We need to speak with Jasmine Carter." "About what?" her father demanded. "It concerns someone she interacted with earlier today," the agent said, voice low and serious. "A matter of national interest." Jasmine's heart dropped. "The old man at the grocery store?" The agent nodded slowly. "Yes, that man is not who you think he is." Inside the living room, the atmosphere thickened with tension. 3 agents stood amid a stunned family, confusion hanging heavy in the air. Agent Rhodes spoke calmly and with practiced precision. "The man you helped today," he began, "is a former intelligence operative, one of the best. He's been off the grid for years, presumed dead. Until now." Jasmine blinked, disbelief tightening her throat. "Like a spy?" "Better than a spy," Rhodes corrected. "His name is Thomas Calloway. He dismantled entire crime networks, disrupted foreign plots, then vanished after a failed operation in 2009. We believed he'd been assassinated. Her mother's voice broke through. But why would he be buying cake and soup in a grocery store? We don't fully understand, Rhodes admitted, but your kindness forced his hand. He left traces. Security footage, a card swipe. We've been following those breadcrumbs for over a decade. Jasmine's father bristled with anger. And you brought this to our doorstep? What if someone's following him? They might be, Rhodes conceded. That's why we're here, to protect your family and to ask your daughter for help. Jasmine's jaw dropped. Me? The agent reached into an evidence bag and pulled out a small slip of paper. Calloway left this in the cake box. She read the note aloud. She reminded me why I stayed hidden, but also why I might return. Am trusts you, Rhodes said quietly, and we believe he may reach out again. If he does, it could change everything. The next 24 hours passed in a whirlwind. FBI surveillance teams parked on the street. Jasmine's phone was monitored, her computer inspected. She wasn't allowed to attend school or leave the house without an escort. Then, at 9:14 p.m. the next night, it happened. A small envelope slipped silently through the mail slot. No one saw who delivered it. Inside was a handwritten note in elegant cursive. Tell Agent Rhodes I'll meet him, but only if she's there too. 6th and Juniper, midnight. Come alone. The agents debated fiercely. Some warned it was a trap. Others saw it as their only chance. In the end, they agreed. Jasmine would go, wired, monitored from a van blocks away. She arrived at the intersection just before midnight. The city was asleep. Fog rolled off the nearby river, thickening the night. From the shadows of a closed bookstore, he emerged. Thomas Calloway looked smaller than she remembered, slow-moving but eyes razor-sharp. You didn't have to do what you did, he said, his voice rough with years of silence. Jasmine shrugged. I just thought you could use a little help. He studied her, then pulled a flash drive from his coat. This is everything. Proof of corruption, double agents, rogue operations. I've held on to it for years. He handed it to her. Give this to Rhodes. Tell him I'm done running. Before Jasmine could respond, Thomas melted back into the swirling fog, vanishing as mysteriously as he had appeared. Back at FBI headquarters, the flash drive he entrusted to Jasmine unlocked a trove of evidence, enough to reopen dozens of cold cases. Arrests were swiftly made, covert operations dismantled, and shadowy figures whose names had lingered only in whispers were finally dragged into the harsh light of justice. Jasmine tried to return to her normal life, though nothing would ever be quite the same. A scholarship arrived from a foundation she'd never heard of, easing the pressure of college applications. For months, her family lived under government protection, though the threats that lingered on the edges never fully materialized. The media remained silent, the files stayed classified. Even Jasmine's closest friends didn't know the full story. Then, 1 month later, on her birthday, another envelope slipped quietly through the mail slot, no return address. Inside, a simple birthday card, accompanied by a note. Sometimes one small act of kindness opens 1,000 locked doors. Thank you, TC. Nestled within the card were 2 plane tickets to Washington, D.C., one for Jasmine and one for her younger brother, Noah. The note continued. You said he always wanted to see the Smithsonian. Thought I'd help with that. Tears welled in Jasmine's eyes as she smiled softly, understanding that sometimes the ripples from a single choice can reach far beyond what anyone could imagine. Though she never saw Thomas Calloway again, she would forever hold on to that moment. A quiet intersection of humanity and history. Not for glory, not for fame, but simply because it was the right thing to do. And sometimes that's exactly how the world changes. Thank you for joining us today on Kindlight Stories, where every small act of kindness shines a little brighter and reminds us of the power we each hold to make a difference. In a world that often feels overwhelming, it's the quiet moments, compassion offered without expectation, justice sought with courage, and hearts opened wide, that change lives and ripple through generations. If this story touched you, please consider sharing it with someone who needs a little hope today. And if you want to walk alongside us on this journey of light and humanity, subscribe so you never miss a story that celebrates the goodness within us all. As the poet once said, sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of your life. May we all take those steps together, one gentle act at a time.